Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. This is an Arabic greetings, meaning may the peace of God, His mercy, and His blessing be upon all of us. And this greetings is also my deepest wish to you who are watching this program, Christians, Muslims, others. Just because peace has obviously become a scarce commodity, where peace is defined as the absence of war, deterrence and protection are considered necessary. So many obstacles prevent peace from happening. It rather seems that planet Earth is invaded by protecting devices. Walls, fences can be found all over the world, built to separate people as if they could keep evil away. Whether it's the Chinese wall or the Mexican border, they call admiration or horror. At the same time, their imposing size and the huge amount spent in antiquity on all kinds of bastions create a feeling of awkwardness, as if they had to resist the next thousands of years. But with what result? Barriers are supposed to protect and therefore to be insurmountable. Occasionally, someone may open a tiny gap, but only to throw some poisonous arrows at the enemy, and then quickly regain the supposed security. That's the rule if you want to feel secure today. Soldiers on both sides of the inner Korean demarcation line have been commanded to never look into each other's direction. But isn't this to a certain extent the same in human relationships? Even in the realm of normal hobby gardeners, beware of the dog written in big letters seems appropriate to appease people convinced that evil lurks beyond the fence. It means that the barrier is mainly in our own heads. The Mauer in Berlin divided the German nation for 28 years. It was torn down more than a generation ago, but it took a long time to remove the rocky prejudices of the intellectual and emotional world out of both Easterners and Westerners' minds. And obviously, there's still a long way to go. What about religious conflicts? More than ever, the world is looking for peace. Many talk about it and look for it in interfaith dialogue and common spirituality. However, religion seems to cause more fear and incomprehension than to contribute to harmony. The more terra incognita, the unknown world, frightens, the more one's own idea of truth awakens the urge to convince or protect ourselves from dissenters. Haven't some of the saddest chapters of history been written with the ink of religious differences? As one sad example, among others, conflicts between Christians and Muslims have been fueled by theological disputes that often ended up into hatred, persecution, and bloodshed. While the Western world seems to sink into some so-called Islamophobia, many Muslims perceive Christianity as the very root of modern evil. Where could be the solution? Should we draw red lines to separate the quarreling children of Abraham, like wrestlers in a ring? Do we need more fences between synagogues, churches, and mosques, like those existing between countries and private properties? Or is it not rather time to realize that pinning stones has brought mankind to nowhere and will never bring to anywhere? Why not simply bury the hatchet and stand together? Let's get rid of the rubble of the past. Let us break down barricades. If you think that way, you are on the same shaft as me. In tireless dialogue between both religions, Christianity and Islam, I've held seminars and lectures in over 70 countries, teaching in churches and mosques, schools, universities, among Muslims and Christian scholars as well. What's my goal? My purpose is to identify the stumbling stones, the stumbling blocks, and to assemble the stones into bridges. I believe that this is possible, even though I'm aware that working toward interfaith understanding neither presupposes nor implicates the acceptance of another creed. It's not about syncretism. Dialogue, all dialogue, implies the readiness to agree to disagree. Oh yes. And to avoid facing the glimpse of another reality, by all means, is a safe way to consolidate one's prejudices, but not to get more security in your own religion. And that's why a look toward the other side may reveal that it's not necessarily the place where evil has put its seat. In fact, looking into the eyes of a pretending enemy might connect you with a brother or a sister who possibly has the same longing for peace as you. By the way, have you ever thought that most Christians that were born and raised in a Christian world would be Muslims if they were born and brought in a Muslim home? In the same way, most Muslims born and raised in a Muslim surrounding would be Christians if they were born and brought up in a Christian family. This very simple reflection demonstrates that neither your nationality nor your education makes you good or evil. Dear fellow Christian and Muslim who are watching this program, or whatever you believe may be, I am sending to you a solemn call to break the vicious circle that has been dividing religions for too many centuries. As we both claim to be the spiritual descendants of the same prophet, call him Abraham or Ibrahim, no matter, let us stop banging our heads against the rocks and let us open the doors to each other, realizing that walls only express the human bankruptcy in trying to resolve conflicts. Only the one who feels insecure needs security measures, but those who know where they stand and trust God can move forward courageously. And therefore, everyone who has the courage to think outside of the box will be rewarded. This corresponds perfectly to what is written in the Quran, just to quote the Quran, the second chapter, Al-Baqarah. In verse 112 it is said, "Whoever submits himself to God and practices goodness has a reward waiting with his Lord. There will be no fear nor grief for him." In this program and the next, I want to try to give answers to some misunderstandings regarding Islam and Christianity. Oh yes, there are a lot of misunderstandings, like when people don't talk with each other, in a marriage, between neighbors, anywhere, and also between religions. Christians would say that Muslims generally are evil terrorists, while Muslims believe that Christians are responsible for all evil in the world, from the Crusades to the whole culture we have of immorality. But are all Muslims, all Christians so evil? Some people have theological considerations. Muslims would ask, do Christians worship three gods? Or what about Jesus, Son of God, has been the Quran? Has the Bible been corrupted? The same way, Christians ask a lot of questions to Muslims. Why do you refute Jesus? Why you don't believe in salvation? So, as you see, there are a lot of questions we could ask here. And I'd like just to communicate to you the passion I have, to fill you with a desire to consider God, the glorious God, as the supreme source of perfect harmony, and to look at the books of both religions and to find answers to the questions you have, or a solution to the prejudices that prevent you to go the mile, to go the way, to go over the bridge to your neighbors, your friends, or maybe your enemies. I can tell you that as soon as you find tranquility in God, you will share this beyond the barrier. An enemy, a family member, or the believer from another faith, it doesn't matter. Let us remove the walls. Let us pick up the stumbling stones and put the blocks together in a bridge, and maybe in the stones we'll find some gems, some treasures that we can use for ourselves. This is my wish for you. I'm aware that this way to think and this way to go may take a long time, and both sides need patience. But the sight of diamonds you might find in the rubbles of the walls you have destroyed, diamonds shining in a dark world, should be worth the effort, don't you think? Are you ready? Well, let's get started. I'm Sylvain Romain. For 44 years, I've been dealing with Islam and Christianity, reading the Quran, reading the Bible, trying to find bridges. I'll be very, very glad to help you doing the same way, which is really worth, I can tell you. Thank you very much for watching this program, and I anticipate to have you back in the next programs about the Bible and the Quran, building bridges between those beautiful religions, finding a common ground, not necessarily speak about the differences, but first seeing that we have so much in common. And especially in a time when the world becomes more and more atheist, believers in the one God should stick together, should come together and help each other, support each other, encourage each other, and also prepare each other for the day when both religions believe is soon the day of Jesus' second coming. Both religions believe that Jesus is coming soon. All of us want to be ready. Let's help each other. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you.